Hello, everyone. Welcome to NX Office Hours. I will be hosting the office hours today. My name is Isaac Mann. I'm an architect with Narwhal. I've been here a couple years, and yeah, it's exciting. This is the first time where I'm like behind the controls. I've been a guest a few times, and so if you get weird things happening, things bouncing around in different ways, that's because I'm new to this, or I'm just playing with new toys. So that'll be fun. And I have with me Colum. Colum is new to Narwhal, and I'm excited to have him on here with me. Could you give the viewers a little intro to who you are, Colum?
Yeah, sure. I'm Colin. I'm a senior engineer at Narwhal, and I've been working on the Angular vertical for the Nx Generators since I've joined Narwhal. So that's involved kind of what we're going to talk about today, where myself and Leisfell have been migrating the Narwhal Angular plugin to use the Nx Devkit instead of the Angular Devkit. So I think it should lead us to something interesting today.
Great. Oh, sorry, I should have said I am located in Columbus, Ohio, in the United States. And Colum, where are you located?
Oh yeah, I'm in Derry, Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. Okay. Hello, Wick. So, Colum, so you've been using NX Devkit. What do you like about NX Devkit, and like what do you like? What is it like actually working with it?
Yeah, it's.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let's backtrack a little bit. What is NX Devkit, and then we'll talk about what you like about it.
Yeah. So in concept, Nx Devkit is very similar to Angular Devkit. So it's basically a set of tools and APIs that we can use to create generators and executors that will help us create workspace automation in a sense where we can generate files, we can modify files, update them, remove them, can basically control our code base, our workspace just through some CLI tools. And it makes composing CLI tools like that a lot easier. And then it can also take our code and build it in specific ways that might help. So that's where we're getting some like magical powers where people are building like Java apps using NX because of these this NX Devkit and the power it provides to it.
So you said that people are developing Java using NX and Java apps?
Yeah, like so we can. There's like mixed workspaces now in the sense that people have Java plugins or C# plugins for Nx DevTools, which allow people to write C# code and Java code within the same monorepo as their front-end apps and build it all using Nx. So they can get the same benefits of like the computation cache and things like that, just from the plugins and from the Nx Devkit.
Yeah, that is really cool. Neat. So the the topic today is all about NX Devkit, and I'll be going through a little demo of trying to use NX Devkit to make some generators and executors, and we'll see how much we can actually get through the demo in an hour. But I plan to have like 4 or 5 different examples of generators and executors today. And also, obviously, we welcome questions, and we'll answer as many of those questions as we can closer to the end. But Colum is going to be watching the comments and interrupting me when when there's a question to answer. Cool. Let's see. Colum, is there anything else that we should talk about before we go to the demo?
I think maybe call it one of the key differences between the Nx Devkit and Angular Devkit, and that would be that the Nx Devkit aims to use like primitives within the JavaScript language, whereas Angular Devkit relies a lot on RxJS, and because of that, it can be a lot more difficult to debug and a lot difficult to understand. Whereas the Devkit just keeps things nice and simple and very easy to like read, very easy to debug then afterwards.
Yeah, I definitely like that. It when I first started using the Angular Devkit, it was a hurdle for me to get over to be able to actually use it. But the NX Devkit is like as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what all this code is doing. So that is cool. There are some more complex use cases that I saw some example code that's using JavaScript generators, and those are still kind of confusing to me. But we'll do lots of examples that don't need JavaScript generators, and then maybe one that uses one. And so if you're used to generators, you'll say, oh, Isaac, that's old hat. Everyone knows how to use generators. Everyone knows what the yield keyword means and what it does. So, all right, let's do this. Let's make some. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. All right, so I have here the Nx examples repository, which is I just downloaded from GitHub, @narwhal/nx-examples on GitHub, and I've done yarn install, and that's all I've done. So this is just master off of here. And what I want to do is I want to create some workspace generators in here and see what we can do with the Nx Devkit. So let's go here, and we're going to make a generator. All right, so Colum, I need your help here. We are going to make the first generator to make a static file in a library. So what kind of static file should we put in here? So like a boring example would be like a license file or a README file. Do you have like a favorite song or something that we can put lyrics in here that so because every code base needs some song lyrics in it.
Oh, they're interesting. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody. All right, let's do that. So let's do. Let's see. We'll call it is. Okay, this is annoying here. We'll call our generator. Is this the real life? And we'll create that. And while we're here, I need to look up the lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, I'm not singing a bunch of
lyrics. Okay, it's we'll copy that. And so we'll make a rhapsody.txt file, and we'll put that at the base of your library. So let's go in here. Is this the real life? Let's make a files folder here and make a new file, call it rhapsody.txt. And I copied this off screen. There should be a space there. Carry on. We'll do some karaoke off stream later. And then there's a space here. Or you can do your karaoke, in the privacy of your office while you're listening.
Yeah.
I like how me is made extra long.
That emphasis.
Yeah. Hold on. We got to do like a head banging here. Okay. All right. So we got our rhapsody.txt. This is a marvelous text file that should be in every code base out there. Bohemian Rhapsody. There we go. All right. So let's see. So our default workspace generator here has it takes in a name from our schema. So right off the bat, you could basically tell what's going on just by reading the code. So you can see this is exporting a default function. It's async, so that just means it's returning a promise. This host here, well, let's rename this to tree. That's what it is. So this tree is a virtual tree representing the file system. So that lets you, if one of these steps fails, the whole thing will stop and nothing will actually affect your file system. So like if this step here fails, then you won't be left with this partial change and then some weird state. So if this second step fails, the whole thing will revert back to where it was. So that's the main value of this virtual tree.
Yeah, and that's in contrast to the Angular's Devkit. Angular's Devkit will actually do partial application. So if something fails halfway along, then everything before that will still apply, which can lead to some difficulties especially when you're building out these and testing them out.
Oh, okay. I did not actually know that. I thought the Angular Devkit did the same thing. So I learned something today. So then the second parameter here is your input options. Let's give that an actual type here. Export interface schema name string. Okay. And so in this case, all it's giving us is the name of a library that we're going to use. So this default generator, all it does is it creates a library using the Nrwlian Workspace library generator. So this is using an existing Nx Devkit generator. It's formatting the files using prettier. And then at the end, it's running like yarn install or npm install, depending on what you're using in your workspace. But that's not actually what we don't want to do. We want to get rid of all of these. So actually, it's important to notice that this step here, it's returning a function. Everything before the return statement here happens in the virtual file system, and it happens before the changes have been made to your file system. This part inside the callback happens after the file changes have been made. So your tool like yarn or npm has no understanding of what this virtual tree is or does. So it needs to actually work with the real file system. So anything that has to work with the real file system should be inside this callback here. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So what we want to do first is, let me check my notes. Here we go. Okay, so we want to, first we need to get the location of the library specified by the name. So let's get we need read project configuration, and this is under Nrwlian Devkit. So let's go in here. So there's a bunch of useful utility functions inside of Nrwlian Devkit. One of them is read project configuration. And what that's going to do is it's going to look in your workspace.json or angular.json and give you basically everything in here. So you give it products, and it will give you everything inside of here. So that tells you like the root, where the root of the library is, your source, project type, everything in here, all this information. And what we mainly care about is this source root, so we know where to drop our file. So let's do that. So we'll do read project configuration, and we're going to give it the tree and the project name. So that's going to be schema.name. Okay, so that's going to be config that. And then inside of here, we've got root and source root. So let's call this source root, because that's really all we care about. Okay, so now we have the location of where our file is going to be dropped. And then we need to actually create a file. So let's use another utility here called generate files. We'll make a generate files. All right, and so pass in the virtual tree again. The source folder is our source root that we just got up above. Okay, and now let's see, target. Target is going to be, oh, never mind. Actually, source folder is the folder that contains the files that we're going to copy into, the source of the copy command. So in this case, we need to do, let's see, join path fragments. And here we're going to do, let's see, what is it? Okay.
Yeah, so
this
is
a good question. Node magic. Go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, Lars asked a question about the read project configuration. He mentioned about how it also returns tags from the Nx JSON file, and it does. So it merges the Workspace configuration and the nx.json configuration.
Oh, perfect. Let's see if we can demo that. So products. So it has tags and implicit dependencies. Let's see if we can get that. Yeah, it has tags and implicit dependencies as well. So yeah, that's great. So I'm glad Colum is here to tell me all these things I didn't know. Okay, so dir name is a special node reserved keyword. I don't know a lot about it other than it magically knows where this file is. So it's basically the path to files, this index.ts. And so I'm going to use the dir name, and then I'm going to add files because I want the contents of this files folder here to be our source. And then the target, that's where the source root goes. That's where it's getting dropped. So let's instead of calling this source root, let's call this library root. So we don't get confused between this is the source of the files and this is the destination of the files. And then what is our last parameter here? Oh, and this is all the, in this case, this is where we would put values that we want to substitute into our file. In this case, it's just a static file, so we're going to make that an empty object. But later on, we will actually use that and make a templated file that we can replace values inside of. So this returns a void. So this doesn't return a promise. So you don't need to do an await here. If it was a promise, you do an await. But in this case, it's a synchronous call, so you can leave it without the await. Okay, so we got generate files. I think that should be it. Let's try running this. And let me get rid of extra. Okay, get rid of unused imports. All right, now let's see. I'm going to run generate. Is this the real life? Oh, NX console picked up that this new generator exists without me having to do anything special. And let's see, where am I going to drop this? What library should I put it in? We'll put it in cart because cart needs some more musicality. All right, so that's a dry run. It's putting in apps cart source. Let's see. Oh, right, because cart is under apps. So if we want this one here, this is cart page. Let's see if we can. Cart page, is that a real one? There we go. So that's a dry run. Let's run it for real and see if we get a rhapsody.txt file. All right, there we go. So now we have a very useful new file in our system here.
So we've got two questions on the code. So one of them was, do we need to return a function? And we don't, as this generator or this generator doesn't. So you can see we don't have to return a function. Mm-hmm. And then the other question was, is there a benefit between using join path fragments and just using the standard node path?
I'm not sure. I saw this in, so join path fragments is a utility provided by Nrwlian Devkit. And so I wonder what's doing under the hood.
I'm pretty sure it joins them with forward slashes and things like that if needs be, and it does it based. It's OS and agnostic, I believe.
And does node path not do that?
I think it's just a little bit more involved.
Okay. I was going to try looking this up, but that's fine. I'll take your word for it, Colum. Awesome. Okay, so now we have a blank file here, or a static file. So let's see. Let's do something else. Let's make a templated file. So let's stay on the something kind of whimsical. Let's do I am a well, one of the poems that I like is "Oh Captain, My Captain" by Walt Whitman. And so I'm going to make a new generator here. And let's see. Well, we'll commit these changes. We'll call it static. Hold on. Let me switch branches so I don't mess with Jason's Nx examples repo. Nx office hours static file. All right, so we'll make a new generator here. Workspace generator. And we're going to call this who is the captain? Run it. So going along the same theme of I don't want a new file. I want a new folder. Call it file. So the name of this folder, it doesn't have to be files. Obviously, we just referenced it in here with whatever the name is. So you can change the name as long as this matches. So that's not hard coded anywhere. But I'm going to make a new file, and we're going to call it captain.txt, or we'll make it a markdown this time. And that's not what I want. I'm going to copy. So, "Oh Captain, My Captain" is a poem by Walt Whitman, and it was written shortly after Abraham Lincoln was shot, and he's lamenting the fact that Abraham Lincoln was shot just after the Civil War was won. Walt Whitman. All right, so we've copied this in. Okay, we lose some of the spacing, but that's fine. And what I'm going to do is this is also, if you watch the Dead Poets Society, this poem plays a big role in that one too, in that movie. So what I'm going to do is we're going to copy this index.ts file, because we're basically going to start from the same place, but then we're going to add in the some more information. So we're going to add captain in here. So we're going to replace the string captain with whatever name you want to pass in there. So we're going to do captain is schema.captain. What we're doing is we're passing into this generate files function. We're saying, this string value here is going to be passed into our file templates. So there's a couple places we can do this. So let's do let's do a few things besides the captain. Let's do author here, and let's do a Boolean. What kind of Boolean should we do here? Let's do is short, shortened. We'll make that a Boolean. All right. Oh, how are we going to actually use these values? So I was thinking, so let's take this, and inside of our template here, this percent equals syntax here says to replace whatever's inside here, like to print out whatever's inside here from the template. So we can do author here, and it will print out whatever the author is. Let's see, what else can we do in here? Oh, captain, my captain. Where should we do? Let's do wherever it says my captain. We'll replace that with the name. Equals percent, and I'm kind of winging this. Let's do name. That one, no, it's not name. It's captain.
Captain. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do this, and we'll do this. So these are silly examples, but hopefully you can see how this would be useful in actual real code. Okay, and so this is if you just want to print out a value that you set up. So you can also do any JavaScript you want inside of here. So let's see, how can we do? I want to make the first character of this uppercase, and Colum, do you know a good way offhand to do that? I could write a function myself. There's also probably, yeah. Go ahead if you have a good.
I just think in string has well, I was going to say it has its own uppercase, but that's not a capitalized function.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll just do it. So here, we'll do it in here. So function capitalize. What does it? Nope. Okay, so we will call this function capitalize. This is a string. And it returns a string, and so we can do first letter equals here. First letter, we're going to use some fancy destructuring here.
Yep.
Rest, and then vowels. There we go. And then we're going to return first letter dot uppercase to uppercase. We'll go to locale uppercase because we want to be fancy. Plus rest. I think that'll work. So we're going to pass in here the capitalize function. So you don't have to just pass in like static values. You can pass in functions or whatever other JavaScript you want in here. So then in here I'm going to do capitalize. And then there's another spot where it's supposed to be capitalized. I think it's here. Capitalize. Okay, let's try this out and see if this works. So capitalize, it's passing in the captain. Okay, I'm going to try this, and there's probably going to be a bunch of errors. So here goes nothing. Who is the captain? So we don't have a captain specified here. So let's fix that. So the reason it doesn't have a captain is because this interface here, even though TypeScript knows that this function needs it, the Nx console does not know that, and the CLI wouldn't know that either. So what we want to do is we want to add a captain here. So we've got a library name being passed in as name. What else do we need? Here, I'll just copy this. Okay, so let's do this. So properties, we got name. I'm just going to copy this part. So we've got type here. The type of name is a string. Description, this is just some text that's going to be displayed up here. This $default, the source is argv, which says that if you were to run this from the CLI, you could do generate who is the captain and then space, and then the next text would default to being the library name here. Or you could do -- name equals library name. So that this lets you do it both places. So the first non-flag after the generate command will be passed into name here. That's what this text does. So I'm going to do, instead of name, this is going to be captain. And we're going to get rid of $default. I'm going to say what captain's name. And we're going to make this be defaulting to my captain. Like that. And then what else do we need? We got name taken care of. We need author. Here, author. Author's name, default to Walt Whitman. Then we'll do is shortened. This is going to be a Boolean. Shorten the poem. Type. And we'll default that to, let's see, do you need, yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, so we have only one required field here, which is name. And all the rest of these values, if we took this default off here, let me just do that. And I'll run this. So let's reopen that to see if it picks up the. Okay, so we need to have NX console refresh. Okay. All right. I'm going to hit it with the hammer, reload the window. There we go. Who is the captain? There we go. All right, so we're going to run this, and let's see if this works. So let's do card page again. It put in the default of my captain, which is nice. Let's try running this. Is this going to work? All right, type string is not an array type. Oh, I was being too fancy.
So there is a capitalize function that's exported by a normal Workspace package. If you want to use that instead.
All right, let's do that. So my live coding didn't work, so we'll just get rid of that. And so Nrwlian Workspace.
Yeah.
Space. String utils.
String utils capitalize, I think. Yeah.
Capitalize. Okay. Do that. All right. We'll use code that someone else wrote, not code that I wrote. I'm sure we could have figured it out, but all right. So let's try this generate command again. Okay. So there's a problem here. Author is not defined. So it's trying to put it in here, and we don't have a default specified. So we got that error. So I didn't fill anything in here for author, and there's no default. So that by the time it got to here, it's trying to put author in, and it says, hey, I can't do anything. So
are you passing author in the substitutions?
I am also not doing that. So we could do that, author, but I think we would still get the same error even if I did this. Run this again. Oh, that did work. Okay. Let's see. What did it generate? Was it an empty string?
Yeah, likewise. Undefined, maybe.
Captain.md. That's just an empty string. Okay. All right. So let's let me. Okay, that's fine. So in this case, it's defaulting to an empty string. But let's say we don't want that. Let's say we want to have a default of Walt Whitman. So let's do that. Put that in here. Walt Whitman. And I'm going to run this again. Now, is it going to complain that the file is already there?
I think it overwrites. Some of that.
It overwrites it. So it says, yeah, it says update here. So instead of create, it's doing an update. So great. So it's overwriting it, and there's our default. All right, let's see if we can change these values now. I'm going to say column wrote this, and if I can spell your name and captain's name. We'll say Victor is the captain. Victor. All right, we'll run this again. Okay, so Victor is replaced in here, and it's by column with a space. That's interesting. Why did it? I think this is an NX console issue. I think it's not putting this in quotes.
Yeah, possibly.
So let me.
It is probably that right-hand side.
Yeah, it's right here. So let me copy this out and see if we can run it ourselves from the terminal. That's in quotes there. I shouldn't be so quick to blame Nx console. Yeah, so that's a problem with us. So let's debug this. Okay, let's do that actually. Let's go here, and I'm going to. So I've copied this command here, and I'm going to do debug JavaScript debug terminal. And so what that's going to do is anything executed inside of here is going to be in debug mode. So I'm going to paste that in, and it should hit this debugger. Okay. Okay, I'm going to run this. Oops. Paste. There we go. Yes. Okay. So now let's see. What is schema.name? Is that? Schema has, so the author is column without the ferry afterwards.
Gregory asked if we run the latest version of NX. I found it. This was a known bug and was fixed in 12.3.4.
Okay. Let's see. It is 12.3 RC1. So let's Nx update at Nrwlian Workspace. Is that what we do? No, it's not Nx update. It's Nx update, I think. Oh, we don't need to do this in the debug terminal. Well, I'm enjoying this. I'm having fun doing debugging my code and trying to figure out what's going on. The value of this over having a pre-written blog post or tutorial you follow is you get to see how to actually find problems in your code, and because you're going to run into problems yourself, and you're going to want to figure out how to actually get past them.
Yeah, I think it's a valuable thing about watching people live code, isn't it? Seeing how they deal with the problems that arise.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to let that run for a little bit and keep on moving forward, and just assume that will resolve eventually. I want to show how to do more JavaScript code in here, more than just printing out a value. So if you get rid of the equal sign here, you can do any JavaScript code you want in here. So in particular, we can do an if statement. And if is shortened. I guess if not is shortened. So if it's not shortened, then we want to print out the rest of this. So we can do this and then close our if statement here. And so now everything in here will only be printed if is shortened is false. If it's shortened, then it'll only print what's up here. So you can do all sorts of, you can do a for loop or whatever else you want to do, whatever logic you need to print out whatever code you want there. So let's see if let's try that. Let's see, make sure we add is shortened to the schema dot is shortened. And then if we go to generator, is this going to do weird things if I run it while the migrate has happened? We're going to do true to is shortened. Let's try running it. I think the Nx migrate is not actually changing node modules right now. It's just
fetching the migrations.
Yeah, it's just fetching them. So let's see what happens. So shortened worked. So it's shortened. Perfect. All right. So that's how we can. That's how we can do, whatever custom logics. I mean, you could even inside of this %, you could write your own function here. You could write your capitalize inside of your template file. Not that I would recommend doing that, but you can if you need to. This is equivalent to putting your logic in your component templates, which we don't need to do, but it's possible. Just so you know what this does. I did also see, and Colum, I'm going to put you on the spot here. It's okay to say if you don't know. I saw this symbol as well in some of the Nrwlian templates. Do you know what that does? Dash.
It's on a skip. It outputs on a skip values with the template.
Sorry,
what that actually means, not 100% sure.
Okay.
So it outputs unescaped values. So
unescaped values. Okay.
Yeah, okay. This follows the embedded JavaScript syntax. So I can send a link on that.
Perfect. Let me see if I can. Okay. ejs.co. I'm going to put that in the chat.
Gregory said that echoes of escape in HTML.
Is that the link?
Yep.
All right. So if you need to look at that, you can learn all the syntax here. Cool. Let's see if our migration worked. We'll close that, The terminal. Okay. Migrations.json has been generated. We're just going to pretend the migrations don't need to be run, and we're going to run yarn. All right, let's see. What else do we have to? All right, we have 15 minutes, and we want to leave some time for, other questions that aren't directly related to NX Devkit. So I think I want to jump to making some executors here. Well, okay. I'm going to try and squeeze in a little bit more. So that's running. I'm going to commit. Templated. And let's make Okay, we're going to actually just work on the same file here. If you wanted to modify some files, the easiest kind of file to modify is JSON files. So modifying your package JSON, modifying the workspace.json or nx.json, you can do, let's see, right. It's not going to autocomplete because it's doing an npm install. This is the riveting content you come to NX office hours for, watching spinners.
Yeah, it's update JSON, I think.
Okay. All right, let's see. We want JSON. Update JSON. Let's try that. So let's say we have, and we want, well, you know what we could, so if we're going to update the project configuration itself, there's a dedicated command for that. Update JSON is when you have a path to a JSON file and you want to update that file directly. Update project configuration is similar to read project configuration. So you can just pass in the let's see, yeah, you just pass in the name of the project that you want to update, and then well, let's do that. We can do update project configuration. You pass in your tree, your schema.name, and then here you're going to pass in a new value for your project configuration. So if we did new project config dot root equals blah. This is how you could modify your project config. You know, change some value that you want in your project config, and then you pass that modified object back into this update project configuration. And so update JSON is pretty similar. You can do tree path to the file, and then an updater function. So this is the JSON object itself. And then in here, you can set your value. So JSON dot key equals new value. And then you'll return your modified object here. So this is, you know, a nice helper function for modifying JSON. Let's see, we're running short on time. If you want to update a file directly, that's not a JSON file. So update, let's see, update source file, I believe. Nope. I think it's write file.
Yeah, tree dot write.
Oh, you're right. Yes. Tree dot write. There you go. So here you do some file and then do contents. Let's actually try that. If we did copy that. No, I don't want that. library root, and then add nd. Comment this out. This is completely overwriting the contents of that file. So if we were to run this, generate, run this again. Is declared. Okay, so it doesn't like that I commented out some things. Some harsh lint rules here. Okay, and so here it completely modified the contents here. Let's just double check that that bug is no longer there. Now that yarn install is finished. Point out this line. This again. Hey, there we go. Great. Awesome. So that's been fixed. Awesome. All right. So let's do some executors before we get before we run out of time here. There are, you could do all sorts of other things when you're modifying a file. You can do a read, and you do a tree.read here, and then modify that, process that somehow, and then spit out the new contents here. In between here, you can do all sorts of things. You can do regex. You can do find replace. You can do regex. You can do AST parsing and modification. So I don't have time in 8 minutes to do all that, but you can get as complex as you want in here. But to do simple things, it's pretty straightforward. Let's do some executors. So for the most part, if you want to do executors, I would recommend using run commands. So that would be going in here, not even really using Nx Devkit directly, but just going in here and let's make a new target, blah, and executor. Workspace run commands, options. Here you can either do a single command like this. So this could be any terminal command here can go here. Or if you need to do multiple commands in parallel, you can do this and do nx run. What is this? Products e2e colon e2e or whatever else you want to do. If you want to chain together multiple targets like that, you can. So for the most part, custom executor commands can pretty easily be taken care of with this run commands option. However, if you do want to write your own, we can make an executors folder here. Going to, I'm going to, for the sake of time, I'm going to pull over my notes here and just kind of walk you through the code, because otherwise I don't think we'll get through it all. Here I made a folder called echo, and you can look on nx.dev. It actually walks you through this. If I can pull it up, using generators, creating custom builders. So this code that's in here is the same as this this article on nx.dev. So in here, it walks you through how to make your own executor, fill out the schema. In this case, the schema.json is the same as what we did for the generators. And once again, you're exporting a default function, and it passes in some options and a context. You can either do context.logger or you can do just console.log inside of here. And let's see. So this is making a child process, but there is a simpler version. Oh, so this is sorry. This part here was with the Angular Devkit. So an Nx executor using the Nx Devkit looks like this. So here you're exporting a function that just returns a promise. And so this is spawning a child process, but you could do whatever you want inside of here. And then you reference it in your workspace.json file with a relative path to the folder that it's created in. And then after the colon, you put the name of the executor. So then once you have that all set up, you can run nx run just like you would any other executor like that. All right, let's pause there and go back to seeing the two of us. Cool. Yes, work is definitely being done to improve the Nx Devkit docs. That's what I have on my plate for the end of this week. And so there should be new content coming up to this week or next week, whenever we deploy that.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's updating the docs is always on the list of things to do. You just barely catch up before there's something new to document, and
yeah.
So it's always a triage situation, finding the most out of date thing that most people are interested in and trying to update that. Cool. Are there other questions that we should talk about before I do the outro?
Before we started, there was one question that came on through the Google form that we have, and that was about will NX support module federation. And if anybody interested, it is on our list of things that will be being supported. We're planning out the work on how we're going to best implement it such that the developer experience is top notch. I know that Manfred's there has done quite a lot of work on module federation, and he does have a very good plugin which has builders and schematics that will help you just use module federation with an Angular right now. So I think that's going to be a hot topic soon.
Cool. Yeah, there are lots of interesting things going on. Great. So we're getting to the end of our time here. If you want to know more, you want to ask more questions, so be sure to be following NX Dev Tools on, if I can click show, there we go, on Twitter here. Also look up the NX on GitHub. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel here. Also, if you want to get a newsletter, I'm going to paste that in here. If you want to sign up for an email newsletter, you can sign up for that. Also, you can check out NX Cloud on nx.app, and there's a community Slack. If you, let's copy that link. Paste all this stuff in here so Brandon knows I did my job right. So yeah, so that if you want to ask not just us, but other people in the community that are helpful and friendly, join the NX community Slack. And if you want to get your questions on answered on NX office hours, there is a form that you can submit directly to us. and it is right here. So this is for asking questions that we can answer live on the NX office hours here. All right, so I just threw a bunch of stuff out. Thank you, Colum. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciated you guiding me and answering questions that I didn't know about. I spend more of my time on documentation and less time on actually working with NX, or actually in the NX code base itself. So it's great to have you be there to give me some pointers. And yeah, so thank you to everyone who came and watched us. And I hope we'll see you again next time. And hope you enjoy NX Devkit. And if be kind to each other and enjoy the cool things that NX gives us. All right, see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.